Okay, so please meet with Mr. Pepijn Kok, right? So
Correct.
he is the head of cybersecurity for AIS.
Correct.
So first and foremost, let me and the followers for the channels understand first your role and responsibility for AIS.
Sure. Maybe it's good for me to first explain AIS. We are the largest telco in Thailand. We have
Yes.
about 45 million subscribers on the mobile environment and about 7 million fixed broadband subscribers. So we
Wow.
are having quite a large population of the Thai environment here.
Right.
So I'm responsible for cybersecurity for all of our subsidiaries. So we have a total
right.
of 27 subsidiaries under the group.
Okay.
That goes into enterprise services, but also, of course, our consumer, our fixed broadband.
Right.
So I'm responsible for cybersecurity for all of these aspects.
So essentially, almost everything.
Correct, correct. However, we do resell some cybersecurity products, and
Right.
that will fall outside of my remit. However, I do have a large importance to play in product selection
Right.
and deciding which products we should go for. I do also get involved in the support of our enterprise service environment,
Wow.
and I provide SOC as a service as well.
Wow, very interesting. And as the the telecommunication service provider, one of the largest, and also as if we consider the national critical infrastructure,
Yes.
this is one of the very important as well.
Yes.
So in that case, what will be your main challenges in terms of cybersecurity?
Sure. So I think if you compare this with a lot of organizations, telcos have a larger amount of legacy. Typically, all companies have legacy. We all know it.
Yeah.
The main thing is that for telco, typically if you have services, you will have to provide them for a long period of time.
Right.
People don't get a service for just 4 years.
Yep.
They have a service for 10 years, and you
Right.
have to keep up with that. So there's a lot of challenges in how do you do the proper upgrades? How do
Right.
you ring fence certain services off? How do you deal with that obsolescence?
Yes.
So that is a bit of a challenge that is always ongoing.
Yes.
I think it's a challenge in every industry, but I think telco has this specifically a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
On top of that, being critical infrastructure means that you're a big target. So everybody wants to try to get their luck, right?
Right.
So we have millions and millions of attacks on a monthly basis on our network
Right.
that we, of course, block and manage and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we are a large target, and that keeps it quite interesting, to be fairly honest. But it is
Yeah.
a challenge. You have to, everybody's trying to keep you honest. So
Yes.
people are on top of you.
And we have a very interesting discussion during lunchtime about why Thailand is one of the most attacked countries in terms of cybersecurity. We're ranking number 7, right?
Yes.
Can you give a little bit of the comment on that? Why that happens?
So if we talk about number 7, that has to do with nation-state threat actors. And that has mainly to do with the Thai connection with the US and Israel.
Okay,
because of-
state actor.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm talking about state actors.
Right.
So there's a lot of state actor activity, and especially now with the tension in the South China Sea, where Thailand is an independent party.
Right.
It does attract a lot of attention into Thailand itself. If you're looking for the rest, Thailand has a population of about 72 million inhabitants. We have more than 100 million active mobile phones on a daily basis. So we're
Almost
talking
twice.
it's about 140%, yes.
Right.
So a lot of people are using mobile phones. We
Right.
have 50% of the population has fixed broadband. So that is also a large population of always-on devices.
Right.
What you're seeing is that Thailand is quite leading when it comes to mobile malware because we are so overly digitized. Vietnam is
Right.
another country. They also basically leapfrogged
yeah.
away from the computer to mobile devices.
I like when you say overly digitized. It's like, wow, it's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword.
Right,
And in
right.
cybersecurity, if you move very quickly in digitization, there might be more risks to your environment.
Yeah, if you move fast, you also move your protections to get to the same part as well. Otherwise, you're in problem.
And I think that in Thailand, people adopt new technologies very quickly, very easily.
Yeah.
But also they learn how to use it, not necessarily understand everything
How
that
to
goes
protect it.
into it. Exactly. And
Right.
that's why you see a lot of scams happening here in Thailand that is
Yeah.
typically making use of the
Yeah.
trustworthiness of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So as being as the head of the cybersecurity and managing, very large infrastructure like this and handle, large number of the subscribers
Yes.
and consumers and also enterprises. I'm sure that, hundreds of vendors, if not thousands, come to you. So I need a bit of advice on,
Sure.
how to, what sort of criteria or what is the key considerations when you deal with the vendor or product or solution selections.
Yes. So I think that in the past, we always went for best in breed. I think that is something that is no longer sustainable.
Gartner quadrant, something like that.
So if you're looking, we went for best in breed, and now I'm stuck with 60 different providers in my cybersecurity. This
Right.
becomes a total cost of ownership nightmare. It's an
Right.
operational nightmare. I suddenly have 5 agents running on one system, so the system performance goes down.
Yeah.
So what we are looking for currently is really more platform thinking. Try to limit the amount of agents that you
Okay.
have. If you can do things outside of the kernel space, so more with maybe kernel hooks or something, that would be preferable. Passive scanners on the network, trying to get in those kind of
Okay.
places, and trying to reduce your total amount of vendors. I think the
Yeah,
most
I'm about to
important thing
ask.
is try to integrate things. It's no longer best of breed.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the best integrated? What is the, how can I make sure that it's rolled out consistently over
Yeah.
the organization instead of only a little bit here and a little bit there?
Right, you're saying that the best of breed in specific silo, when you have that too many, but cannot work together, it's
Exactly.
It's going to be a big headache, right?
Yes. So best in breed still has a place if you're going for specific solutions. There's
Right.
always going to be areas of your security that
Yeah.
are not picked up by platforms.
Yeah.
That are very to the point of specific to your
Okay.
industry,
Right.
and that's where you start looking for more
Right.
specific tools. But overall, your base should be a platform, and
You
over
have to
there.
think more holistically.
You should, yes. And I
Right.
think you have to look at what works in your environment and within the constraints of your organization.
Right.
I think that every vendor has the basics.
Okay.
And sometimes having the basics is enough. So you
Okay.
need to look, what does my company require? Do I
Yeah.
need all these features? You're paying for the features.
Right.
If you're not using them,
Right.
maybe you can get a cheaper product in that
Right.
foundational layer
Right.
and then get something more specific
Know
somewhere
what you
else.
pay for.
Exactly. So I think that is very important. Know what you need
Okay.
and base your decisions on that, and
All
make
right.
sure that everything can integrate with each other.
Okay. Any final word for the enterprise, C-level executive, or even the SME, entrepreneurs to look into cybersecurity?
I think that for cybersecurity, things come down to hygiene, right?
Hygiene,
I think
okay.
a lot of people are overly focused on tools and having to buy the best of the best,
Yeah.
but they forget how to do patches, updates, the antivirus is not
Yeah, basic stuff,
updating, password management, things like that. So the basic hygiene, those are typically free of charge, cost manpower, but
Yeah.
you don't have to buy tools for it. And with that, you typically reduce your risk by a significant amount.
Tremendously, right. Yeah.
And there will always be some things. So you always have to remember, it's not a matter of if you get penetrated or if you get hacked, but when will you, and will you know that you have been?
Yeah.
But overall, to reduce that risk, hygiene is the key.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So I think you get a lot of valuable information. Thank you very much, Pep, for
Thank you for having
joining
me.
our interview.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.